In this week's episode, we're going to be discussing some helpful tips to make sure that you have a successful habitat season.
Mossy Oak Properties, where outdoorsmen find their favorite place.
Well, we're getting pretty close to the season in most of the country being closed.
Yeah.
And that means our favorite time of year. It's habitat season.
Yeah.
Is it not?
It is. 2 H's, hunting season, which I enjoy quite a bit. Look forward to it year round. It's a good thing about this lifestyle. There's always something to do and always something to look forward to and always something to reflect back on and be thankful for. As we transition from hunting season, it's the other H season, which as I get older, to the ripe age of 34, I enjoy, I think, honestly, more than hunting season. And that is habitat season, which is knocking on the door right around the corner.
Yeah. And there's so much to go over when it comes to the habitat work, which we will hear in future videos. But hopefully we're going to be discussing things or remind you to do certain things in order so that way you can have a successful food plot, chainsaw, what's it called? TSI, all that stuff. Yeah, so that way you can have a successful, safe season. But one of the first things to do is just remember what the things that you put away that need fixed prior to the season.
That's right. Equipment is a big part of habitat season. I mean, you can't do really any of the work without these necessary tools, none of which are expensive or big or fancy, but you need a chainsaw. You need a drip torch if you're going to burn safely. You need all these, especially with running a chainsaw, all the safety gear, PPE, and that's what we're going to, in this video, kind of just, of the 2 H seasons, and I'm really proud of this, apply the same preparatory work to your habitat season as you do your hunting season.
Can't say anything.
With hunting season, I mean, we always have our ducks in a row. We got stands hung, lifelines, food plots planted, trail cameras out. We got everything airtight. Apply that same thought process to habitat season and have your ducks in a row so when deer season goes out, you can hit the ground running, fire up the chainsaw, drop a flame with the drip torch. You don't have to be playing catch up, which I was guilty of and still am because, habitat season sneaks up on us because of hunting season. But in this video, we're going to talk about getting everything prepared so when it's time to do the work, you can do the work.
Yeah, and you touched on like equipment, and torches and chainsaws. Again, this is a perfect time, that it's actually the best time. So that way when you drop off your chainsaw at, just to get maintenance, if you can't do it yourself or don't know how to do it yourself, drop it off, get your chain sharpened. It's all the prime time. You drop it off early, it will get done on time. It's because we're weeks away from starting to cut trees down for wildlife.
Right.
Again, things that we put away in end of August and September because you just didn't have the time or the weather was rushing you. You backed the no-till drill back up into the barn or the spreader without cleaning the fertilizer spreader out correctly, and it's going to be all gummed up. All those things, address everything right now. Torn chaps, bad helmets, drip torches, going through a wish list like Cody said. Can't nail that down any better than what you said about the H's, is we go through all that work, make sure we create that thing where it's just boom, boom, boom. We do that for hunting when we do this for, a checklist, that type of stuff. But we put away stuff, I know I do, quickly or out of laziness, let's call it what it is. You put the drill away without cleaning, and then when you open it up, here in the next couple of months, there's mice and there's all gummed up, and now you're cussing and vacuuming, and it's just like, why didn't I take the time to do that? Well, we are given time, and it's called December into January, or actually December. Really, to get things prepped.
Yeah, I know for chainsaws, for me, like you said, if you don't know how to do it yourself, go ahead and drop it off at a dealer or a small engine shop who can service it, maintenance. Get the chain being sharpened is the main thing. Have chain on the bar sharpened. Go ahead and pick you up an extra chain. Heaven forbid that one goes dull, you run into the ground, you hit a rock, you can swap them off, you don't have to wait. I know for me last year I let my saw sit all spring, summer, fall, I went to start it up, and it would putter and it would just die. And I needed a new air filter. Easy fix, but I didn't have any new air filters, so I had to go on Amazon, order new air filters, which took a week to get here. And I was
Look at the time loss.
Exactly. I was biting at the bit, so excited to get out there, and all it needed was a new air filter. But because I didn't do the prep work, I had to wait, an extra week, which in the big picture isn't anything. But had I had my ducks in a row and was prepared, I could have hit the ground running and gotten a lot more work done.
Yeah, and let's continue about the chainsaw, since it is almost to the season. A lot of us that don't use the chainsaws on a regular basis use sometimes the certain fuel that comes already pre-mixed.
Right.
That's not good on chainsaws if you're not using them all the time.
Yeah.
So, but same goes to people that do the mix and you're not using those chainsaws all the time. You might have some carburetor problems. Look at me, I'm a mechanic too. It's like, where did that come from? But anyway, so yeah, I mean, there's so much that little things like that, not putting away if you don't use your chainsaws on a regular basis, which a lot of people don't.
Right.
And stuff like that, getting it out, put the new in, taking it to the thing, starting it. How about we try starting it?
Yeah.
Cody mentioned the chainsaw, the blades. You can't have enough blades. The wedges, you broke your wedges, you forget about your things. Where's my hammer at? I can't find my sledge. I mean, it's all this stuff.
Yeah.
You are giving time to do that. Now, when it comes to fire, sometimes we put our drip torches away incorrectly.
Mm-hmm.
The wicks. Did you order wicks? I'll get the wicks next year. Well, you call forestry supply or the other people that have those. Guess what? They're back ordered. Now what are you going to do?
Right.
I mean, it's just now is the time to get online. Cyber Monday, right? Yeah. But no, there's stuff like that when it comes to even controlled burning. Expect the worst, kind of, because of the way things are with the shipping and all that stuff. And people might not have it. Might be back ordered. Might be not enough of them. Helmets, the right PPE that Cody and I always talk about burning. I mean, getting your fire breaks. Let's continue with fire. You're getting your fire breaks done. Do it now.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though it's during hunting season, and you might want to bring a dozer in during hunting season because you don't want to scare the deer.
Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah.
The deer will be fine. They'll come back. There's plenty of season left. Get those done now, especially if you've got a good window of good weather, because it may rain and it may snow and you may not be able to get a dozer in or equipment in to install your fire breaks. Get it done while you can. Get your burn plans done. Talk to neighbors. Let them know that you're going to be burning. Talk to foresters. Line up some help. More help, as we've mentioned, when you're doing burns, the better. Start making some calls. So fire is so weather dependent, as we've talked about, and so oftentimes you have such a small window. When you have that window to burn, you don't want that window to be taken up by calling neighbors or lining up help or installing fire breaks. All that should be taken care of now while you've got time, even though it's during hunting season. Get that dozer in there, install those fire breaks, whatever you got to do, run discs around.
Yeah. So when you do have that window, you're doing burning instead of getting a dozer in there.
Right, absolutely.
Right? Yeah, and let's kind of switch gears to food plots. We kind of briefly talked about our broadcast seeders, you're not cleaning them out like we should have, or there's still seed in there. It might be gunned up, the PTO shaft, depending on what kind of ATV spreader, or a tractor 3-point has the PTO shaft. There's something wrong with that. Make sure you grease all that stuff up.
Yeah.
In parts, again, that's even harder to get parts for that stuff.
Right.
Again, your no-till drills, your disc. Do you need new blades? Remind yourself, sit down and like, hey, did that work? Did that not work? Just the equipment overall maintenance. Do I need, coulters? All that stuff. Hitch pins.
Right.
How many times have I done, where's all my hitch pins? So just all that stuff. Starting it up, going through, making sure the hydraulic, all that stuff. If you have all that equipment, basically just going through a checklist of farming equipment and just getting it done. One thing too, I kind of left out, and especially being December time period, is that did you put away your sprayer correctly? Because up here in the Midwest, if you did not drain it, you're going to go come March and start spraying, and everything's cracked because water froze in it. For sure.
Yeah, food plots are in the back of our minds right now. We're either in hunting season or habitat season, and with habitat right now we're thinking chainsaws and TSI or fire and burning, but again, the theme of this whole video is being prepared and taking care of what you can now so you don't have to worry about it in the future. And food plots, again, weather dependent. You got rain coming, you don't want to get the sprayer not working. Seed, herbicide, and especially, and that can apply to our TSI work now, go through your barn, your storage, wherever you keep your herbicides, and take an inventory, because with shipping, and some are limited quantities are usually available, especially this time of year. If you don't want to be on a habitat weekend and you need some triclopyr or imazapyr or whatever the case may be, and you're out, order the herbicide so you can hit the ground running when the time comes.
Yeah, you said order the herbicide. And that's one thing that I fail at from time to time is pre-ordering stuff.
Yeah.
Go into your local feed mill, your equity, no matter whatever you call it in your neck of the woods, and pre-ordering fertilizer, herbicide, seed.
Yeah.
Because the prices don't come down.
Right.
They continue to go up. So you can, depends on what equities, I'm sure, you have to do a little bit of research, but most equities will kind of do pre-order type stuff and store it for you. Even do the storage for fertilizer if you know your field's going to take X amount of whatever, and lime and whatever. They can store that for you at their facility, and then you just get it at need.
Yeah.
So doing stuff like that, it's just amazing. You hit the ground running for the first time if you go through all this prep work.
Yeah, wildlife management, this lifestyle, it's a cumulative process, and as we mentioned in the beginning, there's always something to do in the present, always something to look forward to in the future, and always something to reflect back on and be thankful for in the past. And that's why it's so satisfying and enjoyable, because our hands and our minds are always busy and always working for wildlife. But I know it's so frustrating, and I am guilty of it. It happens a lot of times outside of our own control. But when it's within our control and we're not prepared, or equipment breaks because we didn't take the time to run through our checklist for our PPE, or do maintenance on our chainsaws or drip torches or tractors or sprayers or ATVs or whatever the case may be, when it's within our control, then it's a little frustrating. And this video is all about just being prepared. Have a checklist. I mean, I like putting pen to paper, and it's satisfying to check a box or put a line through something on your to-do list. It stays present in front of you, so it's always on your mind, and then you've got everything done. We're so eager. Like, of the 2 H seasons we talked about, come at the end of habitat season, we're so excited to put all the stuff away and go hunting.
That's right.
At the end of hunting season, last thing I want to do is climb a stand or blind and sit in the cold. I want to fire up the saw or pick up the drip torch. So just be prepared, have everything in a line and prepared so you can hit the ground running, and the month of December is the time to do it.
Mossy Oak Properties, where outdoorsmen find their favorite place.